Hi everyone. So now we are going to be dealing with a text structure kind of a question. Again, this is going to be pretty evident when you look at the question stem. Let's look at the question stem here. Which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? So the mention of this particular wording, that's overall structure, you should know that this is a text structure kind of a question. Now in this kind of a question, what is going to happen is that I will have my answer as soon as I'm done reading the text. You will have an understanding as to what the structure really looks like of the text, right? So you'll just be looking at the options and trying to identify any option that matches with your understanding. This is how you're going to tackle this particular question type. Right now, let's go ahead and read the text. Musician Johnny, who is also a painter, uses images she creates for her album covers to emphasize ideas expressed in her music. So what this person does, this musician is basically also a painter. So generally when she comes up with her albums, she has a album cover which expresses the ideas expressed in her music. That's related to her music, right? So the idea expressed in her music is being showcased by her in her album covers. Okay, now let's read ahead. For the cover of her album Turbulent Indigo, Mitchell painted a striking self-portrait that closely resembles Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait with bandaged ear. Now this is telling me how Michelle basically created this cover for her album Turbulent Indigo, or what was she thinking? She painted a striking self-portrait that closely resembles Van Gogh's self-portrait with bandaged ear. So just a description of what the album cover was like. The image calls attention to the album's title song, in which Mitchell sings about the legacy of the post-impressionist painter. In that song, Mitchell also hints that she feels a strong artistic connection to Van Gogh, an idea that is reinforced by her imagery on the cover. So this is basically telling me how the album cover was related to the album's title song, right? How was it related? So the album cover, again in this case, showed or expressed the feelings that she expressed in her music, or the title of the album. Right now, with this understanding, what do I really think about the structure? I think in the first sentence, the author told us, what she does. She is a musician who's also a painter. She generally has her album cover, which expresses the ideas in her music. This is what the author already introduced to me in the first sentence. Now, what I think is whatever comes after this particular sentence is basically an example as to how really she expresses her music on her album covers, right? This is an example, and this is about one particular album, Turbulent Indigo, and how she's expressing her ideas that she has expressed in her music on the album cover of Turbulent Indigo. Now this is what I'm going to seek when I'm reading the options. I'm looking for the option to start off by stating, what this person is like in general, and then it's going to talk about an example or an illustration of whatever claim was made in that first sentence. Now with this understanding, let's go ahead and start eliminating our options. A, it presents a claim about Michelle, matches with what I had thought of. It is indeed talking about a claim about Mitchell, then gives an example supporting that claim. This entire Turbulent Indigo explanation, or the cover explanation, is basically an example. I did identify this when I read the text. So it is matching the structure that I had come up with as soon as I was done reading the text. So I already like this option. I'm going to hold on to this, but I'll still go ahead and eliminate the other options. B, it discusses Van Gogh's influence on Mitchell. You know what, this discussion, even if there was a discussion, it came later in the text. It did not start off, the text did not start off by saying Van Gogh or his influence on Mitchell, correct? Let's read ahead. Then considers Mitchell's influence on other artists. Now, the only two artists that were mentioned in the text were Mitchell and Van Gogh. There was no other artist that was even talked about in the text. So B is definitely out. Also, it doesn't match with the structure that I had thought of, right? So let's go to C now. It describes a similarity between two artists. There was no such similarity given to me at the start of the text. It simply told me what this person Mitchell did as a musician, right? For her albums, what did she do? Now, there is no similarity between the two artists, so this is definitely out. Now D, it describes the songs on Turbulent Indigo. There was only one mention. There was only, the title song was mentioned in the text. Also, and more importantly, the text did not start off by discussing Turbulent Indigo. It came later in the text, right? The text started off by talking about what this person Mitchell really does for her album covers. So this is again definitely out, and A is the correct option.